Today we had a special treat. Julia's Aunt Sherri, who lives in Australia, who has dual citizenship here with the U.S. and Australia, came to visit. While she's visiting her family in Indiana, she stopped by our classroom to tell us about her world adventure. Her Aunt Sherri decided a couple years ago to drive across the world on her motorcycle. So today she came and shared with us where she's been. She showed us on the map and showed us many pictures and told us about all the different people and cultures that she was able to learn about and see on her adventure. In summer 2010, she started in Australia, and she then drove across that continent. Beautiful continent, very flat, very long road. She then took her motorcycle up to Tokyo and started there in Japan, drove through Japan, and then took a ferry over to South Korea. She had a lot of ferries that she had to take on her trips across rivers and lakes and seas. From there, she went up into China and then took a ferry, drove there for a while, then took a ferry up to Vladivostok in Russia. From there, she drove her motorcycle up into the mountains of northern Russia and through Russia and Siberia down into Mongolia, across Mongolia, back into Russia, north of Kazakhstan, up through St. Petersburg, Moscow, to Estonia, where she went, where she was in Finland for a brief while, until she came down and then started again. She came in a Rostock in Germany, which is right here, drove down through Berlin, hit the Czech Republic, Austria, Slovenia, Hungary, Serbia, Romania, Turkey, Greece, Montenegro, back through northern Italy. I think I might have skipped Austria and Czech Republic, but she hit those two. Through Italy. She stayed there through a winter on Haussat, and it came through France and Spain and Portugal, back up through France and to the Netherlands and over to England. Then she took a plane over here a couple summers ago, stopped in Nova Scotia, went through Canada, came down here to the U.S. to visit her family, went through the northern states, up through Canada, Banff, up through the mountains, to the Arctic Circle. She turned around, came back down through Anchorage, went back into Canada, and then decided to take a ferry a little ways so that she could see the glaciers coming off the coast there. Drove down the coast of California to Baja, Mexico, ferried over to mainland Mexico, down through Mexico and most of the Central American countries until she reached Panama, where she had to take a boat to Colombia. Drove through Colombia. When she was in Ecuador, she took a side trip over to the Galapagos Islands and then continued on down the coast to Peru and Chile. She has been to Machu Picchu. She went up through Bolivia. She's driven in the Amazon. She had to take a 4-day ride down the Amazon River before she reached her destination here on the coast, and then continued riding her motorcycle again down the coast of Brazil, through Paraguay, Argentina, Uruguay, all the way down to the tip. Farthest point she could go on a road south until she headed back up through Uruguay. In the spring, she finished her trip here. She's taking a break now where she's visiting her family here in Indiana, but in another week or so, she will continue her trip. She's already sent her bike back to New Zealand, where it will be waiting for her while she will continue her trip up and down through New Zealand, and then finally she'll finish this summer back where she started in Australia. Almost 3 years from start to finish. The trip that she's taken. So we learned so much from Aunt Sherri today, and we want to thank her so much for sharing her pictures with us and everything that she's learned and about all the wonderful people that she's met throughout the world. It was great. Thank you.